Hello and welcome to a weather update from helltrace.com. Today we will be focusing on the changing weather pattern across the United States, where we're going to be transitioning from a above normal warm weather pattern into a much colder, much stormier weather pattern, which should bring some winter weather across many portions of the United States. So let's go ahead and break it down. Some of the pattern changes that we're going to see affect the United States. So starting out, the pattern that we've had for really all of November, much of the year so far this year, and into the first part of December has been what we call a blocking pattern. So it's characterized by a couple of different features. First, we'll start off up here to the northwest, up by Alaska, where we have extremely cold air. In fact, temperatures in Alaska over the last month, over November, were the coldest that they've ever recorded. So extremely cold air, temperatures 40, 50 below zero in Alaska over the last couple of weeks even. So extremely cold air off to the north. We also have a trough across most of the western United States. Now, this trough has actually been blocking this cold air from coming down into the United States, also being blocked by this ridge of high pressure over the main body of the United States. So this ridge of high pressure is what's been keeping the temperatures above normal. It's also been keeping precipitation down, so we've had less severe weather over the fall than what we typically would see. We also have had much warmer temperatures and really not a lot of rain, so a lot of areas across the central and southeast up into the Midwest experiencing conditions of drought because of the lack of rain. Now, this pattern also characterizes some stormy precipitation up across the Northeast, and that's one of the reasons why the Northeast is not currently in a drought situation. So basically what happens is the storms will come up over and underneath Alaska, where they've had plenty of stormy weather with this cold weather as well. And they'll drop down into the west, but mainly clipping just the northwest part of the United States. Then they actually trend up over into Canada, where they've had plenty of snow up across Canada over the last month, and then dip back down into the northeast United States. So this has been the weather pattern that we've had across the United States. It's been blocked and it's been set up this way for quite a while now. Now, we had a similar pattern set up this way across 2010 and 2011, and when that pattern broke down, it really brought in a lot of cold air and a lot of snowy weather to the United States. So that's kind of the trend that we're going to be watching to see if the upcoming weather changes are going to bring that pattern and consistently hold that weather pattern across the United States. So let's go ahead and take a look at the change on what's going to happen over this weekend, as when we're really going to notice the change take effect across the United States. So again, mid-December, weather changes are going to occur. The jet stream is going to set up, and if you notice, the difference is now the jet stream is coming through the west and into the plains and then across the northeast, still dipping down across Alaska. But this is a big change, and that's actually going to set up the weather pattern to look a little bit more like this. So across the west, we're going to have a ridge of high pressure. And we're going to have the ridge that was over the southeast and the central plains is going to shift off into the Atlantic Ocean, which is going to allow the trough or the cold air to sink back down from Alaska into the United States. And really the way that this will work is as the storms come across Alaska, they'll dip to the south, and then this ridge will push them up over into Alaska, grabbing the cold air and then bringing them down across the United States. This typically allows storms to really strengthen as they come out of the southwest. So you notice that we have a storm system building up. We'll actually be watching a storm system that'll move across the United States as we head through Sunday into Monday into Tuesday and then into the first part of next week. And depending on the track, it's going to determine who's going to see the most snow out of this storm system. But current indications are that the southern plains, possibly the central plains, could see some light wintry weather, enough to cause travel problems, and then that should shift into the Midwest or the Ohio Valley, and then possibly up across the Great Lakes or the northern parts of the Northeast. But we'll continue to watch that trend as we move across. But this pattern is one that sets up to where we still see continuous storm systems develop across the Southwest, and then those storm systems will actually move across the country. And with the cold air in place, due to the Arctic air being allowed to spill down from Alaska into the United States with this pattern, it allows for the opportunity for more wintry precipitation, especially across the plains, really the Rocky Mountains, and then all the way up into the Northeast. So we will continue to monitor this weather pattern, as it does look like we will see several waves of winter weather from mid-December, possibly all the way through the middle of January even. But we'll have to monitor the timing on that to see if that can last for that time period. And there's a possibility that it could last even further. If you remember from 2010, 2011 winter, about mid-December, we noticed the cold air began to start filtering into the United States. It was kind of a slow process, but as we headed into January and February, we really were rocked with several winter storms and some brutally cold air that was able to spill into the United States. So we'll see if that pattern takes hold as we head into January and February of this year, but this is a pattern that is favorable for those conditions, and it's something that we'll be watching. This again was your update from Hail Trace on the upcoming winter weather and the pattern change across the United States. Stay tuned for more updates from Hail Trace, and also you can always get in contact us simply by calling 855-334-HAIL. Have a great day.